if you started the video. Okay. Good morning. Hey everybody, welcome to Launching Out. This is a podcast that is designed to motivate and inspire you to reach your goals and dreams. And I want you to know that you can always go to the website 24 hours a day. That is www.Olubrownemotivations.com. And there you'll be able to find resources that I believe that will help you to surely reach your goals and dreams. Also, please follow me on Facebook at Olubrown. There you'll be able to find content from past podcasts and other events that I have attended and have been doing throughout our community. Also, please follow me on YouTube and check out my YouTube channel. There you will also be able to find previous podcasts that was broadcast in weeks ago. So listen, we're here today. As you can see behind me, we have all these signs. This is not by accident. This is on purpose. I have with me in the personality, the founder, the CEO of Cooper Realty. This is a great sponsor of Olubrownemotivations and the podcast Launching Out. Listen, why don't you launch out with us today as we dive into 50 years of celebration. We are celebrating 50 years as partner and friends with David Cooper and the Cooper Realty. I have with me none other, as I stated before, than the CEO of Cooper Realty, the founder, the one that was pregnant with this idea of realty in Cooper Realty, and he's just attached his name to it, y'all. And there's something in the name. So come on with us today and find out what it took for Cooper Realty to be here in our community for the past 50 years. I want to welcome Mr. my friend, my brother, my mentor. I'm telling you, the one and only David Cooper. Welcome to Launching Out.
Thank you, Brother Brown, for inviting me today. It's an honor and privilege to be here with you on your podcast.
Excellent, excellent. Listen, man, we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about 50 years, y'all. 50 years, man. 50 long years. There's so many people that haven't done anything for a week, more so than 50 years.
Right.
And so, man, welcome to the program. Thank you for coming and joining me today. Yeah, but let's talk to our people.
Okay.
Because let's just tell us from the very beginning, we're going to go back 50 years and tell us, how did this idea come about?
Well, 50 years ago, I was working for one of the major airlines and just wasn't happy. The money was good, the benefits were great, but I felt like I just wasn't providing nothing to the community and even satisfying myself. So I stepped out on faith after some preparation, of course, and to let the airline go and start my own business in the real estate. That way I was able to help people and get some self-fulfillment from that. So, and I started in 1975. So it was a time when the interest rates were high, market was slow, but I was determined to make it, and I did. So here we are 50 years later. It's been some challenges, there's been some hills to climb, there's been some rough spots, but to God be the glory. For the grace of God, I'm here.
Yeah, great. And the other thing, as you were speaking, I was just thinking, sometimes the challenge is we say, well, it's bad time to start. But realistically, there's no bad time, because the fact that you started in what was bad time or rough times got you already seen that movie before. So when the hard times came, it was nothing new to you, right? Because you started in hard times.
Exactly.
Yeah. So talk about that. What was it like when you first started? What you touch a little bit about the market, but what was the environment like as an African American in that day, that time?
Well, in 1975 when I started, I was the new kid on the block, so people was not really used to my flavor, and I had to get acquainted and really prove myself that I was going to make it and things going to be okay. But first, it was being accepted. There were a lot of obstacles that I really didn't know were there until later on. But I was determined that I was going to move forward. And I would talk to different people, and they would basically give me negative response. The market is high, and you might as well just quit. Well, that just made me stronger. So as you know, you don't give up. You don't quit. Right. So it's been a good journey. Yeah. Like you said earlier, I started when it was rough. Rates were like up to 16. So when the market gets bad, I'm at home. Yeah. So we've always had a good years.
Yeah. And you talk about the rates. Then people are crying about what is the rate? What is it going right now?
Rates now is about 6.5, 6 3/4.
And people are crying. And what was it back then?
It got up to 16%.
Y'all hear that, folks?
Yeah.
16%. And they didn't make much money then like you make it now. But nevertheless, they went for it anyhow. And then people were still buying homes.
Well, yes, we had to do some improvising. We did back in those days what they call a wraparound mortgage. So with FHA and VA, one could assume those loans without qualifying. So let's say, for example, you had an interest rate of 4, and you owed maybe $40,000 on a $100,000 price home. Then we would get the seller to take a second, maybe for part of that balance, and then we would wrap around that existing interest rate that you have. So you have maybe like a 10% from the seller and maybe like a 3% from the lender. So that was still, on the end of the day, better than that 16%. But we made it work. Absolutely.
And, you talk about, we started back from 1975. But as we came along, I'm sure there was some reckoning, like the rest of the realtor world had to realize that, hey, this guy's here to stay. At what point did that turn started happening where they realized, hey, he ain't going nowhere. He can't quit. He ain't gonna quit.
Well, I would probably maybe 5 years into the business. I mean, people saw that I wasn't going to go away, and some of those people that was probably trying to keep me from making, they gave up. So this guy, he's like you said, he's here to stay.
Yeah.
So but I kept pressing, and I realized early on in the business that you just don't quit, regardless. If you're going to make it, you can't quit. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. You have to motivate yourself. But I would leave home in the mornings, and I would tell my wife, look, I'm not coming home until I sell something or list something. Yeah. And I was determined, and we made it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Nowadays, folks are so quick to give up. Just start something, and maybe a month into it, and it gets rough and it gets hard, and next thing you know, they throw in the towel. But folks, if you throw in the towel or if you quit, it's over. It's over. Because to start up again, it's not that you can't do it, which I love the story of people going back and dusting off what they had going and take another look at it and see how they can get going again, and perhaps they can really, do it better than they did before because they have more knowledge. But that idea of quitting is not a recipe for success. And so talk to us, man. At that time, you had your family, you had children. How did all that play into the challenges, and how did you overcome all of that?
Well, the first thing was that I had a family, had children, and I had expenses, had bills to pay, And I know I wanted to do the business in the real estate business, but then that job was, I felt like it was security, when you got a family and responsibility. So I made preparation. I mean, you just don't quit a job. Well, in my opinion, you just don't quit a job and go into something else unless you're prepared for it.
Right.
So I knew what I wanted to do, so I prepared like a few years in advance. So when I quit the airlines, then I had a certain amount of income.
Right.
So I made preparation. I bought some rental properties. I did some property management. So that gave me a base, whether I wanted to sell a house or not.
Yeah.
So that was my preparation, and then I stepped out on faith. And I remember I'm a mother's boy. I went to my mother and I called her honey. I said, honey, I'm tired of doing both jobs. I said, I gotta quit one. And her response was to me, which one you like? I said, I like real estate. She said, well, then that's the one you keep. So always do what you like, and it's not like work. So I took my mother's advice with much prayer, and the rest is history, man.
Yeah. I like that, man. The thing is, what I'm hearing you say is that you had to burn the candles on both ends. Yeah. You had to work your regular job and then come and work some more doing real estate, or whatever you have to do to build that company up to where you can make a leap from one to the other, as opposed to just quitting one and then starting another.
No, that's right. No, I didn't do that. I prepared. I was burning cattle at both ends and in the middle. So really, I probably worked 80 hours a week at least. I was putting in 40 plus for the airlines, and I was putting in probably 40 plus in the real estate business. Now, I had a good helpmate. My wife worked with me the whole time. So, and then my son started a little later on, but it took a lot, to get it going. But there were times, you feel like stopping, but like you say, quit was not an option. No. So as things got harder, I just worked a little harder. Yeah. It reminds me in the country we had an old rooster. And I know a lot of times the rooster would come out and every morning when he first crow to wake you up. Okay. But then we'd be in the backyard pecking. But I noticed that rooster never quit pecking. Sometimes he got in a harder, he pecked a little harder. Yeah. He was determined to get that work. Yeah. So I was like that rooster. I was determined to make it work. I hear you. We play with that rooster thing a lot, but we're not going to go there. No, not today.
But it's good.
It's a principle. Yeah, it's a principle.
Yeah, and that's good. And I was just thinking about you taking your mom's advice. Yes. And you're talking about getting out there and working hard and you didn't that option of quitting at that point wasn't there. No. Because to quit, number one, is a failure in itself, and to go back and start over where I can hear the folks at the airline saying, "Look at him. He said he was going to go down there and start a business. We told you couldn't, and look at you, lady. You want to come back over here with us, and all this other stuff." Yeah. But that's how people are. Exactly. That's how people are. And so, talk to me about and us about the how far you've come in real estate with the associations and all these other real estate networks that you.
Well, I got my broker's license in May of. I got my broker's license 50 years ago, in 1975, May 1975. And I joined the board of realtors in 1977. So, I made progress. After 40 years, I received what they call the realtor emeritus status. And what that means is I don't have to pay dues anymore, realtors dues.
After 40 years.
After 40 years. And then I didn't have to take the ethic class I guess they figured you've been doing it for 40 years. You must have been doing something right.
Yeah, I like that.
And in 2017, I was honored and chosen by my peers to be inducted to the Real Estate Hall of Fame. And certainly I was honored with that recognition. So I've made it, and still there's been other acclimates, but those were the larger ones.
Right, right. Well, that's good, man. That's good. And I was at that event.
I was going to say, you were there, and Pastor Scogan was there, and some of my other friends and associates were there.
Yeah.
But I would just like, it's not I would like to say it's not just a one-person journey. I mean, I had good staff. Like so my wife been with me. My son has been with me now for 23 years. I have a brother that worked with me, and he's been 30 to 37, I think, or 40 years. So it's been a journey for all of us. We have a great team, and we work together as a team. So it took all of us to make it.
Right, right. So what, how long have you been at your current location? And where is your current location so people know?
Right now we're located at 2825 Wartown Street, Winston-Salem, South Side. And we've been in this building probably about 32 to 34 years. And so we've been there.
Yeah.
And we've always worked on the South Side.
Right.
For the last 50 years we've been on the South Side.
I know. When I came into North Carolina, and Winston-Salem in particular, and when we, as a family, looked for a home and wanted to buy a house, we came to you.
Exactly.
And I think everything that we've purchased thus far has been through you. And even to today, I still come to you for advice and other things. And I plan on us looking at something hopefully today.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just so we can kind of do a drive-by and take a look at a property that looking to invest in. And so thank you so much for being a part of our community. People, I think on this program, I want to recognize the fact that you have been a pillar here in our community and have been a black-owned business that has been representing us in an excellent manner, that even the Board of Realtors have recognized that, hey, this guy is a man of excellence. He doesn't have to pay dues, and his ethics is, stellar, that he doesn't have to take ethics classes. And people always say, one thing or the other, because it's just their opinion. But I'm going to tell you my opinion is that everything that I have done with you has been excellent and has been nothing short of the best. And, advised in everything. I haven't been pressured into buying anything. I haven't been sold anything I didn't want, none of that stuff.
Right.
So I know, people say all kinds of stuff. I'm in the business too. And, I had a cleaning business, and you supported me even during that time, and people say a whole lot of stuff, but they're rather saying nothing. And most times people that are saying stuff they're not even real customers, okay? So sometimes you don't even have to pay attention to that noise. But nevertheless, yeah.
Well, you have to realize, one has to realize that you're never gonna satisfy everybody. You don't have to do anything, they just don't like you before you show up.
Right, right.
So one straight road to failure, in my opinion, is you're trying to satisfy everybody. You can't do it.
No.
And then you have to realize everybody's not gonna like you.
Right.
So when you realize that, you just do what's right.
Right.
You do the right thing. And just go from there, because people are gonna talk, they're gonna say, and don't know what they're talking about a lot of times.
Right.
So you do the right thing, you give thanks to God for what He's doing in your life, and you move forward.
Right. Right.
So that was my philosophy. I think when you learn that, it's a plus.
Right. 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 You're absolutely right, because those are some of the challenges that come. If you are doing a business, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't done one, watch out, because you're going to experience that, and don't let that deter you. Don't let that knock you off your game, okay? And just stay focused and know that, you know, that too will pass, and eventually folks will realize, hey, this guy is for real. And so, again, thank you so much. Now, let's talk about what we're dealing with today, the market today. Let's talk about what Cooper Realty is and what it looks like today and in the future. The market.
Okay, well, right now, the market is good. There's still a shortage of homes. The rates are up, so the supply is still low somewhat. So supply and demand, so the prices are still high because there's a shortage of homes. But people are still buying. Some people are waiting until the rates come down. But we got 6.5, 6 3/4 is not high. But we got spoiled when the rate came down about 2.5 to 3. You know, I guess this is after COVID, during the COVID period. And people have to get readjusted in their mind that the rates are really not that bad. So people have been getting to buy. The market is still good. Rates are a little higher than what they were, but relatively speaking, the rates are still good. So, and Cooper Realty, we are hanging in there. We on board, and we're still selling. And 50 years later, we're still going strong.
How can people reach you?
Well, they can reach me at 336-788-6179.
There you go.
Right there. For any questions, that they have, or thinking of buying or selling, just a general real estate question, feel free to call us.
Yeah. You hear that, folks? I mean, that's what I do. I just did a few minutes ago. While I'm here, I'm going to pick his brains and find out everything I need to know, and even visit a property while we are together, not far from here. So, Cooper Realty has been around. They not only have served me and my family, but have served our community for 50 years. Folks, that says a lot. 50 years in business, and he's looking good. Doesn't he look good? I mean, look at him. And so, we want to thank his wife, his staff, all of those folks that have been part of Cooper Realty and still are, and going strong. And so it's just not him. He's just the face of it, but at the end of the day, it's a whole team that really makes it happen. So now, as we talk about Cooper Realty, let's talk about the management part of it, because anything you have has to be managed.
Exactly.
And management comes with some challenges, and I want to talk to the business owners that are out here that have to manage their business. What are some of the challenges and things that you face during the years, up to 50 years that we're celebrating now? Because it's something to be said when folks say, yeah, 50 years, they go, oh, yeah, 50, great years. But there was a lot of stuff that went on in them 50 years that they may not know about, and sometimes you don't even talk about.
Exactly.
So talk
well, it's like I said, management, you got, like, we have a team, and each person has their responsibilities. Now, I am what they call the BIC, the broker in charge. So I'm responsible, in addition to my seller, I'm responsible for all the actions that goes on in my office. If there's another salesperson got an issue, it's my issue. So we have meetings occasionally as to what our duties are and what we need to carry out. Now, we also have a person that we got bills coming, right?
Right.
So we got one person which is my wife. She just handles the office management. She takes care of all the bills, and she takes care of in a sense, the income, and make sure this is appropriated correctly. So and we each have our own territory. My son, he's a salesperson. My brother, he's a salesperson. I'm a salesperson and the broker in charge. But you have to have a system in order to maintain, and you got to stick with that system. And sometimes when you're self-employed, people get the idea you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, and you don't have any boss. But in my business, we have several bosses. You're my boss. All my customers are my bosses. So we have to do, what's satisfactory to your clients.
Right.
And so it's a system, and you have to be dedicated. It gets rough, and you have sometimes to back. You don't quit. You just got to back up and rebuild.
Yeah. And I tell you, man, I've been around you, and you have advised me in many areas, not just about real estate, but even having to do with this program and other things that I've done. You have been there to assist me, and I was able to call you and bounce stuff off of you, and you have given me great advice, and I want to say thank you for that, and so many others that have been. I call you all my partners, because there's something to be said for partners. Sometimes you find yourself in a position where you need someone to help you along the way, and thank you for being that person. You and a few others have really been there for me.
Well, I just wanted to also thank you for what you do. See, you are encouragement. I remember your win. But here again, you would never quit. Sometimes, as I said, in life we don't quit. We have to reposition ourselves. But quitting is never an option. Okay, so but I'm proud of you. I thank you for what you're doing in the community. Your motivation, and your book is a great book. And I just suggest to those who have not read it, get it. It got some very good information, and I've read it.
Yeah.
So thank you for what you do, and thank you and your family for all the support that you've given me over the years. I think I've sold about everybody in your family. I did your mother, I did your sister, I did maybe one or two to you. And
I know you got me a few times, and that's a good thing.
And I'm hoping to get you a few more times.
The way you talk, you may get me another time.
But no, I really do appreciate you and your support and your family supporting. And I'd like to also say, now during my journey, I've had some good help. I've had some very good spiritual support. I've had a couple of pastors Pastor McGowan, I remember when I was starting out, back in the days, it got a little rough and people was beating me up. For nothing. And I got a little upset, and I mentioned to Pastor McGowan, and he said, that means you're doing something right. He said, whenever they start picking on you, he said, you just keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that meant a lot to me coming from a pastor. And I'll tell you about Dr. Scobin, when we had when I was inducted to the Hall of Fame. I guess you noticed I was getting a little nervous, and he was sitting at the table with him. He just sort of whispered. I won't tell you what he said, but he whispered something positive in my ears, and that meant the world. So I was able to get rid of some fear that I had and move forward, because I had to do some speaking that afternoon, evening. Of course, he was there.
Yeah.
And from what he whispered to me, that made me strong, and I appreciate that. And while I'm thinking, I like to thank my church members for their support. I don't talk about it, we don't talk about it, but I have several clients at Galilee, and I appreciate their support as well as all the people in the community who have supported me over the years.
Well, that's good. Folks, just so you know, David Cooper and I, we do attend the same church congregation, that is the Galilee Missionary Baptist Church. And he spoke about Pastor Scobin's, and I too want to piggyback on that and say that he has been a great support to me, my family, Olubrownemotivations, and launching out the book. He's supported that wholeheartedly, and he supports all of his membership that are doing anything great in our community. And so we're not alone. So when he say that, he really means it. And I'm here to attest to the fact that that is true. He is that kind of pastor. And we want to thank him for all that he does for our church community and the community at large. That is all throughout the Piedmont. Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, and everywhere else in between included. But man, I'm not going to let you go without you let's just talk about some of when you know, from the point of buying a home, let's talk about the process, okay? Because there's people out there listening that never bought a home before, and they want to understand what is the process. You know, when you haven't done it before, you can be afraid.
Right.
You can be, what am I getting myself into? You hear 30-year mortgage. What does that mean? Am I going to be paying this thing for 30 long years? And what am I going to do? Let's talk about that, because as opposed to renting, because even if you live 30 years, you're going to rent for 30 long years, right? So,
well, yeah, you know, some people, they're a little concerned. I don't want to get obligated for 30 years to pay for a house. Well, you're not really obligated to stay there for 30 years. Buying a home is what I call like forced savings. You know, like if you bought a house for like, I'm just picking, $100,000 for 30 years, well, you may not stay there. You know, you don't have to stay there no exact period of time. So you stay there 10 years and you want to move up. Well, you've got what they call equity in that home. So you paid $100,000, you may sell it at that time later on for $200,000. So you're forced, every time you make a house payment, you save it. You pay part interest, part principal. So your mortgage goes down, balance goes down every month, and the equity in your house grows because of the price of the house goes up. So you're forced to save. And then with the mortgage rather than rent, you feel better as being a part of the community, okay? And also you have somewhat control over your payment. For rent, you have no control. You're at the mercy of your landlord, basically. So in the long run, if you're going to, this is my calculation, if you're going to be in a place 5 years or more, then it's best to buy. Less than 5 years, you want to think about it, because if you were to sell it, you're going to have selling expenses. It may take away the equity that you gained. But if you're going to be there more than 5 years, I would suggest to anybody, that they go in and buy rather than rent. For example, a lady called me the other day, she started her rent out was like $550. Well, now, I think she said it's like $950. Which is still low compared to what the market is, but if she had bought several years ago, the house would have been practically paid for. So you better control of your house payment when you buy, and you're part of the community, and it's a forced saving. Whether you want to save or not, every time you make a house payment, you are saving. The property is increasing in value, and the balance is going down. But you never tied for 30 years. So what people do, you buy a home, stay there a few years, and if you want to move up, then you sell that home, take your extra money, your profit, and put on another home. The people that get, I won't say hurt, but the people that's less fortunate in a sense, is that you never bought a home in your early years. And now with the prices of homes so high, it's a big jump without a big down payment, your payment is high. So you need that equity. And you don't have to buy your perfect house. You don't have to buy your dream house to start with.
Right.
But buy something that has some equity so you can sell later on and move on up.
I like that. Forced saving.
Forced saving, yes.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before. I learned something today. So folks, make sure you find something that'll get you into the position of forced saving instead of throwing your money away to renters all the time. Listen, I'm a landlord, he's a landlord, we'd love to have
we love it.
Yeah, but we want to help you, okay? So try to buy you a home if you can, and save up, and don't give all your money away to the stores and to Walmart and everywhere else, and Target and all these other folks. Save up your money, buy your home. And one of the things that he touched on was, that mortgage rate, you can have a fixed mortgage rate where it's not going to increase. So if your payment is $700 every month, guess what? 10, 15 years from now, it's still
Well, the 700 gonna be your principal and interest. The only little change would be your taxes, your escrow.
Right.
Which is nothing, it's not that much, but your principal and interest remains the same for the entire term.
Yeah, you hear that? So when everybody else is going up in rent, your mortgage no other more than the taxes or the escrow, which is your taxes and your insurance. Am I correct? Because he taught me a few things, y'all. and so that may change based on incidents and other things that you got going on with the home. But for the most part, it's not as drastic as it would be from example $500 or $600 to $900 or even $1,000 in some cases. So,
and I just wanted to say, in most of my career, I worked a lot with first-time home buyers. And it was my commitment to make everyone that wanted to buy a home, I do whatever I could to help them to be a homeowner. Although I'm a landlord, I love the rent when it comes in, but I always suggest and push people to buy. Renting for me is not good.
right.
And because they could be putting that money again into that full set and some extra for themselves. But everybody has a different reason for rent, and some do it for different reasons. But whenever one can purchase a home, I always suggest to buy. And I try to, everyone that wanted a home,
Right.
I try to encourage them to buy a home.
And you can pay your home off early.
Yes. Yes.
So you don't have to be 30 years of payment if you can pay a little something. Help us understand.
Okay, yeah, here's the deal. Okay. You don't have to, okay, you set your mortgage up for 30 years. Okay, your payment is, for example, $1,000 a month. All right, well, what you do to cut that 30 years, you pay a little extra every month. Depends on how you do. You can pay that house off in 15 years, 10 years. But paying, you'll be surprised how what little bit extra will take off that mortgage. So that's one way to do it. And my suggestion is, you set it up for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
That way you got a lower monthly payment. You're not obligated.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say one particular month you want to cut out going to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
You want to cut back on some hamburgers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that
Right.
sounds silly, but it works. All right, you take that money and you for that particular month and you put extra on the mortgage, and that will knock several years off of it.
Yeah.
And here again, that's that forced savings again. You increase your equity by doing that.
Yeah.
So you got to sacrifice.
Right. And what I've learned is, along the way is that you can make instead of that monthly payment, you can make bi-weekly
Exactly.
payments.
That's another
That
option.
too helps.
That's another option. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna pay it anyway. So if you break it up and pay it 2 weeks at a time, same payment broke up in two.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you gain you a month every year.
Exactly. Yeah, you reduce that interest that you pay.
Yeah.
And another thing one can do is, okay, like when we get our tax refund, well, it's money you didn't have anyway.
Right.
Take that money, if not all of it, part of it, and put on your mortgage. That reduces your years. That increases your equity.
Well, somebody said, David Cooper, I've been hoping that tax money come back so I can go on vacation.
Well,
So I can go on and buy and put down on a car, another expense. So what do you say to these folks?
well, it's not wrong, but I would say take that money, especially when you're young initially, take, if not all of it, part of it, and put on that mortgage, okay? A car, it's nice to have a car, but then a car you're not going to get any equity. That's for your personal use and your personal pleasure, but both for personal use.
Yeah.
If you got to have it, you got to have it. But if your car is okay, you get that extra money, put it on the mortgage. Like I said, you got to sacrifice something. You can't do it all. You can't do everything at the same time. So you pick which is most important to you.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And that's life. You pick what's most important to you. When you wake up in the morning, what is most important to you? What do you want to check off and know that you have completed that task for the day or the week or the month or even a year for that matter in some cases.
Exactly.
All of us And you can speak to that. I would love for you to speak to the fact that, how do we tackle tax? Because we have so many things. People wonder, Dad, how can you do all that? Where do you find the time to do all the stuff that you do and manage all the property and do all this other stuff? How do you do it?
Well, okay, we should understand the question. How do I manage?
How do you, your time. Time-wise. People say, I don't have the time to do all these different things. And, because we have so much going on.
I'm with you. Well, you here again, you have to do what's most important to you. You have the time. It's how you appropriate your time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do everything. There's some things that's not really that important. So you pick up what's most important to you. And in my case now, I have a person that handles my property management basically. I still work on the homes occasionally, but there's time to do it. If you have to sacrifice here again in life, especially when you're in certain economical position, you have to sacrifice something. I take for me, for example, we came along and there were weekends that I wanted to go to ball games.
Mm.
Well, I had to make a choice.
Right.
Do I go to the game or do I work on this house? So there were several weekends, rather than going to the games or going to the tailgate, whatever, I chose to work on my rental property. So here again, I sacrificed going to the game. I had to figure out which is most important to me.
Right.
But you have to sacrifice something to get what you want in life. Now later on in life, as you grow, you can do all those things that you didn't do when you was trying to make it. But when you're trying to climb,
right,
you got to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
If you want to, succeed.
Yeah. So, listen, folks. It's been a great conversation thus far, and I want to say, so far within the time that I have been working on my book and doing motivational presentations, I want to say thank you also to David Cooper here that he came and did I had a motivational rally, a motivational program called Wake Up and Win. And he came and he spoke on just what we're talking about, real estate.
Right.
And he did a whole seminar on that, and there's some folks listening to us that may have attended that program at the time at Galilee Missionary Baptist Church. It was great. We had Cooper Realty there. He spoke, him and his team, and also we had the Legacy Financial Group that was there to talk about accounts and management, and also cost savings and those kind of things. How do you manage your money, finances? And so that was great, and we all came back together and had a great motivational presentation that was done by myself and another person who also spoke, told that story. But overall, we had a wonderful time in helping our community.
Yeah.
What was your experience like during that event?
Well, it was great. The response was amazing. People loved it, and there was people that really asked about when you can do it again. So I want to ask you publicly right now if you could put that on again, because the community enjoyed it. There was a lot of questions that sometimes people have questions and they won't ask it, but there was a lot of positive things that came out of the program. So I want to ask you, if you would, right in your time, I know you're busy, but if you could just think about putting that on again for the people in the community, because they really enjoyed it. It was very beneficial, and we thank you for doing it. So I'm asking you publicly, would you do it again?
I would.
I
would. And in fact, I'm working on it. What I want to do this year, last year I didn't do it because I was involved with the book, and then I also traveled overseas and promoted the book overseas as well. I had a couple of people that forwarded the book. Our own mayor, Alan Jones, did forward this book. and also the former Speaker of the House of Representatives for the Republic of Liberia, in the personality of Funati J. Kofa, also forwarded this book at the time. And it was only the right thing to do to go and share and personally hand him a copy of the book, which I did, signed copy. And as well as Pastor Scobens also was the third person that forwarded this book. So between the pastor, our pastor, Pastor Scobens, Mayor Alan Jones, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives for the Republic of Liberia, I think the book is worth picking up to read. But I did that last year, and this year I want to do the event that Mr. Cooper has talked about. And the reason why I want to do it later this year, usually I do it at the beginning of the year, but I want to do it later this year because my mother usually travels during the cold months. And she's never here for the program. And so this year, I'm hoping to do it after the summer and everybody get back from their summer vacation and we can do this program. So tune in to Olubrownemotivations, tune in to the upcoming podcast, and you'll hear more about it as we structure and get things planned out. I don't know where it's going to be yet. Last one was at Galilee. I don't know where this one is going to be, but we're going to have a place, we're going to find a venue, and we're going to do it because I want my mother, the woman, and like Abraham Lincoln, this is all that I am and all I ever hope to be. I owe it to my mother. And so I would rather her be there to be part of this program.
Well, let me just say a thing. Just something, like 50 years, and and what I didn't mention earlier, I had an invisible partner the whole time, and without that invisible partner, I could have not made it. And that invisible partner is God.
Yeah.
Without His grace and His mercy and being there beside me, I couldn't have made it. I'm not that smart, but I've been blessed by God, and I have to give Him the glory.
Yes.
Although I was the instrument, and my team is what you saw. That was that partner with us. And we would thank Him. I would thank Him for every transaction I had.
Yeah.
Even the bad ones.
Yeah.
What I thought was bad.
Right.
But He thought it was good. I would think it would have been a whole lot worse. But I just wanted to point out that I could not have made it thus far and continue to make it without my silent or invisible. He wasn't silent. My invisible. And I give Him the glory. And I want to thank you for what you're doing in the community. I think you just got pinned for all the great work you're doing over in the Happy Hill Garden area.
Absolutely.
Okay. And again, in the community, you've been a positive force and a positive person for the community, and we all look up to you. But I thought it was great to be pinned, to receive that pin from that community. And let me just say, and I know you're doing stuff local, but you in your country, you're doing stuff over there too.
Absolutely.
So you, what I would say, international.
In a way I am. I've learned to keep silent and let God work. Like he spoke about, God is in all of this. You can't do anything without Him. Okay, so if you think you're doing it all by yourself, you better check yourself. Because without Him, there's nothing possible will be possible. There's nothing impossible without God. With God. So, with Him, you can do all things. And so that's what we are. That's the belief, and that's what we pray about. Even before we started this program that you're listening to right now,
Amen.
Prayer went up because that's the way I roll. Everything has to include God. I seek Him first, the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added onto you. But again, thank you so much. I'll give you the last word here, but before I close out, But again, for the penny ceremony, Happy Hill community, I love you. I thank you for honoring me in that way for the work that I've done. I also want to thank my Liberian community. Happy Hill was known as Liberia at one point, and before it became Happy Hill. And so the Liberian community, the Liberian organization of the Piedmont have been instrumental in the work that have been done even through me in that community as some of the personal stuff that I've done. But I want to thank the Liberian organization of the Piedmont and the president, Dr. Emmanuel Clark, and of course the chairman of the board that has been instrumental in the personality of Dr. James Wahunda. Again, I'm about to call you Dr. Cooper. Of all that you've said having to do with real estate, you could earn a doctorate in real estate at this point. I don't care what anybody says. That's Dr. Cooper. And so, Doc, tell us what close us out in your own way and what you want folks to know about Cooper Realty.
Well, first, I'd again just like to thank everyone for their support over the years, because we could have not made it without the community and the surrounding counties without your support. We strictly in sales, so we need your support, need your commitment to us to help us to keep going. We thank you, and I thank you for all that you're doing. I thank you for your positive encouragement. And sometimes, you would say stuff you probably don't realize it that would encourage me as we talk in different conversations. So I thank you for your friendship, first of all. You're a great friend. You're one of our deacons at church, and as a matter of fact, you're one of my favorite deacons. And I appreciate that from a spiritual point of view, and I thank you as a friend. And just say to the public again, thank you for your support and all your encouragement that you, and some of you have entrusted me with your whole family. I've sold the mama, the daughter, the grandmama at this point, the grandchildren rather. So I thank those families, and I also thank those, although this sounds unusual, but I thank those who didn't support me.
Absolutely.
Because it made me stronger.
Yeah, they were part of the process.
It's a process, exactly. So I think, as Pastor Stover would say, Lottie, Dottie, and everybody for all your support. And again, thanks to everyone. And if there's any real estate need in the future, you can reach us at Cooper Realty, 788-6179. Just call us for just general information if you're interested in buying or selling, and just have a question. And we'll, as he stated earlier, we're not pushy salesmen. We answer your question, we give you what you want, and we're there for you, as a service to the community and a service to the area. So again, thank you for having me today. I really enjoyed it, and it's always a pleasure to be in your surroundings.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And listen, folks, you heard it here, and this podcast will be on Facebook for the next 30 days. You can also find it on the website, www.Olubrownemotivations.com. You also can go to YouTube and look up Launching Out podcast, and there you'll find several episodes of the podcast, and you can choose the one you want to listen to, or just take your time and listen to all of them. There's good information that has been shared throughout the year. And again, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for joining us on Launching Out. I believe that your best is yet to come. And I want to thank you again, David Cooper and Cooper Realty. You can find them on Google. Just type in Cooper Realty on Google. It'll pop up. If you don't have a pen right now, you're at work, you're driving, you can't write down the number, go to Google, and Google will help you to find them. Again, thank you so much. I love you. May heaven smile upon you. Go after your dreams as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. Peace.